one of the drawbacks of having a whole group of libraries in a big deal, which is what we've had, is the bigger libraries end up driving the conversation in many cases. You know, they don't, the concerns of the smaller or not as big libraries end up being, they're included, but they're not the predominant conversation.
And when it's, for instance, a consortial license, that's based on, and that license where we sign an amendment that we're joining with that license, we have to accept the terms negotiated, let's say, by Yale, by Neural, for instance. So there are issues there that can be difficult for our offices of general counsel. Venue, for instance. If, you know, I assume most licenses signed by Neural, the venue is Yale. Or the venue is
the venue for what?
For dispute can be Connecticut as opposed to Vermont. And I know that my Office of General Counsel does not want us to sign anything where the venue is outside of where our attorneys can practice.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
So
yeah, you can't afford to litigate in another state or another country.
Right.
And Yale is the same way. With the big deal licenses, my recollection, and it could be imperfect, I'd have to go back and look, is that the biggest publishers anyway like to have the individual schools sign their own agreements.
They do.
And that would be the point at which you could get that venue shifted.
Going back to your subscription models, which is very interesting, I don't think, well, I know for my institution, there is a price to support a discipline, be it physics or chemistry or history, and I don't think the institution would object to spending a certain amount of money to provide the journals necessary, like Scope, where it would be consolidated through one payment. In fact, CRL is a similar kind of organization. We pay a membership, an annual membership, to use the resources, the varied resources of CRL. That's a known figure. I think our problem is the unpredictability of going forward what those prices will be.
But of course, one of the challenges with Scope 3 could well be that in 2012, libraries commit to spending what they're spending now, or with a little bit of inflation. But what if in 3 or 5 years' time, your Nobel laureate in particle physics leaves, and the program is downsized, and there you are.
Right.
I mean, it's kind of in a way like, I hope Salvatore isn't hearing this, it's kind of in a way like a big deal that you can't easily pull out of. It's going to be one of the problems that will have to be solved over time.
Yes.
Because at some point it will arise if this thing succeeds and if it goes forward into what's imagined as its first 3-year pilot. It may well be that in year 2 or 3 someone comes along and says, I've had such a cut, or there's going to be a change in program and I can't keep doing this. What's going to happen? This is going to have to be addressed.
There has to be some built-in flexibility to deal with that kind of an issue.
Right.
But I guess you can't, this sort of goes along with Katina's quote, you can't fix everything up front when you don't know. When you don't know what it is, you'll have to fix.
There are a lot of unintended consequences you just can't anticipate.
Yeah.
But you have to have the flexibility, at least from where I'm sitting, to deal with the problems as they arise.